Witch's brew stew, a cauldron food that is traditionally served the month of October in celebration of Halloween. Now it seems that witch's brew stew is served by those people who enjoy the outdoors. The tradition is that you'll build a medium fire outside and you gather your friends and family around to sit around the fire and you tell ghost stories while the witch's brew brews. Okay? Well, today we're going to talk about the witch's brew and what is actually in that stew. Okay? All right. Witch's brew stew, the name came from the fact that when you're sitting around the fire telling ghost stories, you're telling witchery stories, witch's brew, okay? The stew itself is a brew, and you're waiting on it to cook and brew, and it takes some time for that to happen. That's why they've named it witch's brew stew. So here we go. This is what goes in the stew. It's traditional to start your black cauldron over the fire on medium heat. You fill it with water, and you're going to be cooking beans to start out with. Now, the beans need to be dry beans. Now, you can start the witch's brew out with canned beans, and it don't take as very long to cook and serve. But the idea is for it to brew and simmer and brew and simmer, so you have plenty of time in the night to tell your ghost stories. The idea of witch's brew is to be able to brew up a stew that is very dark in color and kind of spooky looking, okay? So you're going to pick dry beans to cook that are going to be dark in color, such as pinto beans, black beans. It's traditional sometimes to put black-eyed peas in there. Reason being is because the black-eyed peas will break apart and separate, and it makes a nice gravy in the stew pot. Now this gravy with all these dark color beans will turn dark in color, which is what you're looking for. Now the other idea is the vegetables. You want to use vegetables that are ugly vegetables. For example, mushrooms. Mushrooms are dark in color and they're not a pretty vegetable. Another idea is to use things like vegetables that might break apart and look kind of spooky looking, such as squashes or green zucchini. But the most popular is spinach leaves and turnip green leaves, where when it cooks down, it's long and looks really spooky. It also helps to turn the stew pot a dark black purple color in the gravy. Okay, so we have covered the beans and we have covered the vegetables that are used. For flavoring, it's traditional to go very simple, and you can just, it's as simple as buying a pack of stew seasoning packet, like a beef stew seasoning packet, and putting it in the pot. You definitely want to make sure that you add your beef broth. Now, what meat is served in witch's brew stew? Well, you want to go with a dark color meat. Hamburger meat can be used, or beef cubes can be used. A lot of times it's traditional to take even pork meat and pull the pork meat in strings and throw it in the pot. It's also traditional that you can actually put rib meat in the pot to cook with the beans. Because when you serve that stew, when you dish that stew up, and you see these little rib bones and all the long turnip greens, it looks really freaky. So what you're going to do, you're going to brew up the dark colored beans, your vegetable of choice. You're going to make sure you're going to flavor it with a beef broth in seasoned packets. And you're going to add your meat. Now the only thing left is that potato. Now potato is white, and most people try and stay away from white foods because you're trying to get the brew as dark as you can get it in color. So when you serve it, it looks like, wow, what is that? Okay. So why not try purple potatoes? Purple potatoes are perfect. But don't forget, guys, to make sure you put those onions in there. You can chop up green onions, or you can throw onion rings in there where they'll cook down into stringy strands that is not able to figure out what it is. Okay, guys, there you go. That is what Witch's Brew stew is. This is Pam with GoneToPot.com, where I research the holidays and I bring the information to you so you may want to start new traditions in your family too. So I hope you try this Witch's Brew stew. And if you do, make sure you put in comments how you liked it. Now, for the final tip, when you make Witch's Brew stew, don't forget about the breads. You can make cornbread right over the fire, just like you make the Witch's Brew stew, that can be crumbled into the pot. There are a lot of pans that make cornbread that can be in the shape of ghost. If cornbread is not your thing, even though cornbread with beans and meat is absolutely fantastic, but if cornbread is not your thing, then why not try breadsticks that's in the shape of witch's fingers? That's good too. Okay, guys, go out there and build that fire in the night. Invite all your friends to sit around and tell ghost stories until that Witch's Brew is done. If you like this video, hit like. If you would like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, because we're going to do a whole series of Halloween videos for you. The next video is going to be about bone soup. That's right, bone soup. A real soup. So can't wait to tell you about it, guys. That's it for now. Bye-bye.